in just hours from now, New Zealand will go into lockdown. It's after the country detected its first locally transmitted case of coronavirus for 6 months. It will last for 7 days in Auckland, the largest city where the case was detected, and there'll be a 3-day lockdown in the rest of New Zealand. The country has been applauded for its success in keeping COVID-19 at bay, but it's only fully vaccinated about 20% of the population. The Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern, was speaking earlier at a news conference.
Public health officials have been working at pace this afternoon to gather information on the case and their movements, and I will pass to Dr. Bloomfield shortly to set out the facts as we currently know them, including locations of interest that have been identified so far. But first, I want to assure New Zealand that we have planned for this eventuality and that we will now be putting in place that plan to contain and stamp out COVID-19 once again.
Our correspondent Shaima Khalil has the latest from Sydney.
They're looking at Sydney as an example of what not to do. Jacinda Ardern didn't say this in the exact words, but she did say that you should only look to our neighbours, the situation of what happens when you go in too late. She said it's better to start with the higher levels of stay-at-home orders and go down when you're sure that you've prevented the spread of the Delta variant. Now, there are a couple of things that are worrying health officials. One, that they don't know if this is the Delta variant, but they are assuming that this case is. And the other is that they cannot link it to a chain of transmission. They can't link it to hotel quarantine. They can't link it to overseas travel, which means that there could be close contacts and there could be exposure sites. And so what Jacinda Ardern and the health officials are saying that it's better to go in fast and to go in hard. Remember, when she was announcing the phases New Zealand was going to go through to open or to ease the restrictions on their borders last week, she did say if we got one case of the Delta variant, it was going to be level 4 lockdown. Now, this is the harshest level of the stay-at-home orders. It means that people cannot go out of their houses except for the 4 essential reasons. Now, interestingly, though, that while they were going for the elimination policy, which is the border closures and snap lockdowns to control the spread, New Zealand has also been trying to ramp up its vaccination numbers. About 20% of New Zealanders have had their jabs so far, and they're trying to ramp up those numbers and have them increase. Jacinda Ardern said that vaccinations will be suspended for the next 48 hours to make sure that they're done in a safe manner. She did call upon the team of 5 million, which was her famous phrase at the beginning of the pandemic, to unite once more to try and make sure that this spread is contained and this outbreak is contained in New Zealand.